It's interesting to me that you are a palette composer, because if you listen to the different styles of work that you have put out there, they're completely different. And I'm just thinking about two of the more recent ones, The Hero of Santopia, which is lush and epic and choir and orchestra and everything, and just gorgeous melodies. And then you have Where's Wanda, which is more synthesizers, more experimentation and more, I guess, percussive. And they serve two completely different characters, I would say, in both of those projects. Don't you think? Like, is that fair for me to say?
Absolutely, and that's also what I love about my job, where I have to say The Hero of Santopia is more my where I feel at home, that kind of sound. I love big melodies and I love orchestral sounds, but I really also like diving into creating sounds and finding the core language for a series on a more sophisticated sound level. Because when you have an orchestra, the sound in a way is set. I mean, of course, the size of the orchestra and the kind of how you orchestrate things, you can go very different routes. That's absolutely great. But when you start from scratch and you have to invent a sound in a way, and even have to invent the instrumentarium you're using, it's a completely different way of thinking. And so I really like to have those two parts in my life, and it makes the life much more interesting in the end.
Right. So I would love to talk about both of these projects, but so maybe we can talk about Where's Wanda first, because you did have to be very, like you said, sophisticated, because it's a drama around a very serious and sad topic, but then at the same time, it's hilarious. And so you have to balance those two aspects. And so you have, would you like to talk about that show a little bit and where that balance is and how you came up with the sound that you have created for that program?
Right. So for the first episode, I had I was the co-composer on this project.
Yes.
That's the way I have to put it, because Ralf Wengenmeier, who's a very renowned composer in Germany, and we can talk about it because I was a big fan of his work even before I got into composing. And so he started episode 1, and then I got on board, and from episode 2 on, we shared the work. So he, in a way, he set the tone for the series, and it's a very percussive sound, and we broadened his palette a bit from episode 2 on, because the series is ever evolving and it's changing all the time. It starts as a comedy, turns into a drama, and gets dark comedy, and right. It gets bigger, and it starts with a very little family setting, and then spreads out. I don't want to spoil too much, but you really have to watch it, because I think it's in a way very unique how the story is told. And as to the comedy part. I think writing music, I wrote music for comedies a lot of times, but I think you don't necessarily have to write comedic music, and I'm not the first one to tell you this, of course, but it's more about supporting the main characters in their role in a serious way. And if you have really good director and really good actors, then the comedy part will just come up naturally without the music having to do funny things or funny noises. It's more about timing and taking things serious, and maybe too serious in a way. And that's what we did with Where's Wanda. There are some passages where the music is getting not too serious because of the percussive nature of it, but I think there's not too many moments where we really do comedy music. Right. It's more a thriller and crime score, if you can say so.
Yes, it is, but I feel like it's very nuanced at the same time. So yes, it's a thriller and a crime score, but then at the same time, there are some things that you put in there that help to, I guess, just kind of. I'm trying to think about how to explain what I'm saying. It's not like on the nose, like, "Hey, you should be scared now." You know what I mean? It's much more
Yes.
subtle, which I
Yeah.
think is more effective, and I really love what you did with it.
And more, thank you, and more fun, of
Yes.
course, but it's also harder to achieve, and it was a lot of work going in that direction,
Yeah.
and a lot of work in a small amount of time to be done.
Oh,
But
how long did you
yeah,
have to do everything?
I mean, per episode we had 2 weeks, but that is 2 weeks of composing the whole episode, sending them for feedback, getting feedback back, working in this feedback, sending it out, getting feedback again, producing everything, mix, and sending it to the mix and go on to the next episode. So it sounds like a lot of time for an episode, but
No, it
in reality, it's not.
No, it
But
doesn't sound like a lot of time at all.
but I like that kind. I don't like having too much time for stuff. I really like to be in the flow and getting things done. I really like that part of our job.
What sort of interesting sounds did you like? Was there anything that you manipulated? Any instruments that you manipulated, or any to create the sounds that we hear?
Yeah, I mean, we recorded some percussion stuff on our own, small percussion shakers and stuff like that. And also, I tried to get percussive sounds out of guitars. I'm not a guitar player, but it's a thing I use in most of my more thriller scores. I really like sounds that are created by instruments with strings, a piano or guitars, electric guitars, a violin or something like that, and just record it and mangle it with plugins or distortion pedals and stuff like that, and then create something out of this recordings that isn't necessarily remembering in remembrance of a violin or a piano.
Right.
And so a lot of the percussive parts you hear is created with electric guitar, or the bass drum is beating on the body of electric guitar, which is plugged into an amp or stuff like that.